After years of working with homeowners who have paid their homes off or nearly paid off, there seems to be a repeated pattern, and this pattern is catching them off guard. A paid off home is supposed to be calm and secure and having a peace of mind. But for a lot of growing homeowners, especially seniors and retirees, that seems far-fetched, and that very home is becoming stressful, and it does not feel like a paid-off home anymore. That's why now many homeowners are forced to sell their home, which they never planned to. It's a sad situation. They worked hard, they saved, they maintained their homes, they raised their family and memories, and yet it's not what it's turning out to be. They did exactly what they were supposed to do, and yet today many feel like the ground beneath them has quietly shifted. These homeowners did not plan it that way. They did not see it coming. They worked hard, but now that quiet pressure is here. The pressure just built into them. It just grew into their lives. Now that it's here, they have to do something about it, and many do not have any choice. The house that was supposed to be your safety net slowly becomes the thing creating stress. In your life right now, in your golden years, that's not a very good thing. Let me explain how that happens, because it is not random. And this is more common than you think. You are not alone if you're feeling this way, or if you're in this situation, or if you're going to end up in this situation. It's a very common thing happening to a lot of the seniors who have paid off their homes or are just about to pay off their homes. So this video is not about the rising taxes, the rising insurance costs, the rising maintenance costs, the politics and the policies that are put forward today. This is about the real pathway that homeowners, especially seniors, are being pushed into that they never saw coming, that they never planned for. And if you're not retired yet, this matters even more, and it may help you plan further into your retirement life. When you are in a situation when you have a paid off home, but yet you cannot maintain the house, you cannot maintain the bills, you cannot keep up with everything that's happening, it becomes pressure on you. It's not a cushion anymore. It's not the ticket to heaven anymore. But what happens is there are layers and layers that take you in this position and keeps you in this situation. I'm going to talk about 3 pathways that leads a homeowner into this situation. Let's talk about it. The first pathway is keeping up with the maintenance of the house. You have been there for 20, 30, 40 years, and obviously all homes need maintenance and upkeep and upgrades. But there comes a time where things go out of hand. You are not able to do the maintenance, and you hire a contractor or a handyman, and these things cost money. Fixing a roof today could cost you $15,000, $30,000, $40,000. Fixing the air conditioning or the heater could cost you $5,000, $10,000. Or even if you just want to tune it up, it may cost you $500. Maintaining a yard, if you have a yard, that may become expensive. If you are in homeowners association, they may come up with rules and regulations to have you paint the house or change the fencing, and all these cost money. And then the hard thing is, when you spend this money, a slab leak or a plumbing leak, all that money comes out of your pocket or out of your savings or out of your emergency fund. So as it is, Americans have a low savings accounts, and when you have to pull out money unexpectedly, $10,000, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000, it really bites you hard, and it takes away from your retirement and your future living and future peace of mind. And to make matters worse, if you do not have the money to fix it or to repair it, then your house becomes older and becomes a fixer and becomes hard to maintain. So should a time comes when you have to sell it, your value will not be the value that you would have gotten if it was fixed up or upgraded. But if it needs some work, the roof needs repairs, the air conditioning needs repairs, the yard needs maintenance, there's going to be a drop in your price. There's going to be a loss of profit because there is a loss of equity in the house. As Americans, we are equity rich, but house poor. If we have to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, many of the retirees cannot afford to or may not want to get into their emergency funds or retirement funds. The repairs don't hurt as much as losing the feeling of safety. The house suddenly feels like something that could hurt you financially. Keep in mind that the average savings for an average American is very low. If you look at the age from 65 to 74, the average retirement savings is $600,000 and the median retirement savings is $200,000. Now, if you look at it, $600,000 when you retire, and let's say you retire at 65 years old, and you're going to live through 80, 85 years old, that does not sound like a lot of money. If you're over 75 years old, the average retirement savings is $462,410 and the median retirement savings is $130,000. If you feel comfortable sharing, please let us know which feels most stressful to you, keeping up with the maintenance or losing your retirement money, or just the rising cost in general to keep a house today. Let's look at the pathway to is a loss or a sudden loss of a spouse. Obviously, this will be a very heavy emotional setback, but more than that, when you lose a spouse or when one loses a spouse, they could lose significant income that's coming in. So what happens is your income drops 20%, 30%, 50%, sometimes even 100%. So what happens is if you are living alone, it becomes even more difficult for you to maintain the house, to keep up with the bills, and to stay in this house with a loss and a loved one. The death of a spouse is an emotionally overwhelming experience. Making important decisions and managing financial matters amidst grief are among the most challenging things you must endure as a surviving spouse. However, addressing these matters ahead is essential to honoring your spouse's wishes and securing your economic stability. A 2024 study from Thrivent, a financial service organization, found that 51% of 422 surveyed widows across the U.S. experienced economic difficulties following their spouse's passing. 41% had not engaged in any financial planning or discussing before the loss, and 39% carried more than $25,000 in debt afterwards. So when a spouse passes, everything stays fixed. Your expenses does not drop, your house does not change, but everything else does around you. Now the house may feel heavier, emptier, not because it's different, because now you are different. Let's talk about the third pathway, and that has to do with the natural physical decline. Now, this isn't about becoming incapable at any time. It's about how gradually, as you grow older, you can do less and less things, and you have to be careful. So when it comes to maintenance, when you have to fix a roof or clean your gutters, when you have to mow the lawn, or if you have to fix a window or fix anything in the house, it becomes more difficult. Even a simple task of changing the filters may be a thing not to do. You may have to bring a stool or a ladder and climb the ladder or step on the stool and change the filter. And if you fall, that creates a lot of danger. So you may be able to maintain things, you may still be able to do things, but it's required and necessary that we slowly let go of doing certain things for safety and peace of mind should something happen. The sad thing is, when you try not to do things, or if you cannot do things, you may not feel very comfortable. You may feel down that you cannot do the things or you're not supposed to do. Maybe your spouse will say, hey, don't do it. Don't climb that stairs. Don't climb that wall. So you feel emotionally stuck about not being capable of doing things. But at the same time, when you hire somebody, a handyman or a contractor, as I explained earlier, these things cost money. So one, you are not able to do things, or you are not supposed to do things at the same time. By not doing those things that you can still do but not supposed to do is costing you money. That wall that you have to fix may cost you $300 or $400. But if you call somebody, a contractor or handyman, it may cost you $1,000. So one is that you cannot do things. And then number two, if you don't do it yourself, and when you hire somebody, it's going to cost you a lot more. Contractors feel small individually, but they come with a price. And the work done may not be how you would have done it yourself. Small jobs cost money. Changing filters or replacing shelves or work in the yard, it cuts into your pocket. It cuts into your emergency fund. If you have an accessibility issue, or if you are preparing for an accessibility issue, putting up a ramp, putting up grab bars, changing the bathtub to a no bathtub shower, or making a shower or making a walk-in shower, all these cost money and time. You may not be able to spend time on it, but it's going to cost you money and time. Once you modify the house, something changes. Independence. You feel better about the house. You feel better about yourself now that it's done, and you can move on. 54% of baby boomers say they never want to sell their house. 40% of baby boomers not only never plan to sell, but they also intend to pass their current home to family bearing heirs who elect to sell a property. Still, almost all boomer homeowners, 90%, have concerns about homeownership as they age, primarily based on growing expenses. The results stated the cost of maintenance and upkeep tops the list, 59%, while being able to physically take care of these tasks isn't far behind, 55%. About half, 49%, worry about their property tax increases, while 42% are concerned about rising utility costs. So as you can see, the three pathways can lead you through a trap. Your house eventually becomes a trap. So the three pathways we talked about is maintenance, loss of spouse, and physical decline. One thing we have to keep in mind is despite these losses or challenges, you did something right. You paid off the house, you have the house, and you are living in it. That's something to be proud of. You had parties in the house, you had kids grow in there, you had family come over, you played in the yard, you created memories that you can pass on to your next generation. The other option may be that if you feel that your house is a burden right now, and if you cannot keep up with it, many homeowners, seniors who have paid off their homes, opt to downsize or move to a different location. So that's a great option to look into. If selling this big house or a bigger house than you need because the kids have moved out and it's just you and possibly your spouse, you may want to sell it and take the equity and buy something cheaper or smaller or in a better weather or a different location. So there are advantages to downsizing, but there are also disadvantages by downsizing. You may not settle into the new location that you move into. When you move into a smaller house, you may miss a room, you may miss a garage. You had a 2-car garage, you used to go in the garage, fix things, do things, and now you don't have a garage. When people come over, friends come over, family come over, and they stay there for the whole day, you may need a few moments to go into your room for privacy, but you may have now just 2 bedrooms and not a 3 bedrooms. You may have had a living room and a family room, and now you may just have a family room. You may have had a yard, and now you have a no yard because you're staying in a single-level apartment complex or a condominium unit. So you do miss your privacy, you may miss your space, you may miss your friends and family, but you have to decide whether to stay in this house with the high cost of maintenance, high cost of bills, and inability to keep the house maintained. Is it a good choice for you to downsize and move away to a different location, different house, smaller house, cheaper house, etc. I have been working actively with homeowners and agents across the country. So if you want help thinking through your options, where you live, what you should do, where to move, I am happy to address any questions or suggestions from you. For some of the homeowners, this has become a forced choice. You cannot afford to pay. You cannot afford to maintain. You are limited physically. So you may be forced to move or do something about it. And some have the option on what to do. They can think ahead. If you're in your 55s and 60s and 65, still in good health, still have income coming in, you may want to look ahead and say, what's going to happen at 75 or 80? So you may want to plan ahead. So you have a choice, either be forced into it or you have a choice to do what you want to do as time comes for you to make that decision. This isn't about downsizing early. It's about avoiding being forced later on. Nothing feels urgent until it becomes urgent. This window doesn't come suddenly. It narrows. If this is something you are thinking about, you are not alone. I am Mike Patel. Thanks for watching. And please watch this video. It talks about how Americans are being forced to sell their home.